Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, guys. Might probably be Sunday evening, definitely evening in Europe, and certainly evening or nighttime in Africa. But those of us in North America are still very much wide awake. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Can't believe where the time went, but the time is gone. Sundays are my days for catching up with myself, getting ready for the week, doing all my cooking and cleaning and cooking some more and cleaning some more and catching up with family. And then the week starts again. I work long hour weeks, and so I don't really have time during the week to do much by way of cooking. So I tend to pre-cook a lot of stuff, freeze it in my freezer, and then, portion it out first, and then put it in the freezer and eat it in bits and bobs. The hard hassle of living abroad and what it brings. It makes you a good personal manager of your time and everything, because that's the only way you're gonna get anything done. Hello, Geshin, how are you? I hope you're good. I'm sorry for the noise, but this is just how it's gonna be. I can't have a picture perfect video whilst trying to do everything, because I'm trying to do 3 things at once: cook, talk to you guys, do the dishes, everything all at once. I live by myself and I don't have the luxury of having help. So this is how it's going to be, and you guys are just going to manage it the way that it is. So whilst cooking and cleaning and doing everything in between, I just want to have a conversation with whoever else is still awake and wants to have a conversation with me. I love you guys so much, and I just want to talk about the importance of having good sisters and good friends and people in your life that are your cheerleaders, that are going to inspire you, motivate you, encourage you to be a better person, and everything in between. In this life, it's good to have a family, to have parents, to have people who care about you, and all of that. But then your family and your life is not only made up of your family. Like, you must have friends and people who support you also. And this video specifically goes to women, because it's normally we girls that bitch about each other, don't really support each other, and don't encourage each other to be better people. I'm going somewhere with my story, so follow me. There are 2 main things that I see a lot of women do to each other that is sad, because knowing somebody in your life or having somebody in your life, the summation of the person or the value that you're getting out of the person shouldn't have anything to do with things that are outside of the person's control, like financial status, their personal status as to whether they're married or single, and other things, right? Life is just life. And as a human being, you're meant to be there for each other, to support each other, and bring out the best in people. But these days, I see women using weapons that are not even weapons against other people and make people feel less than, put people under unnecessary pressure to do things that they're either not ready for or was never even meant for them to do in the first place, just because of the bad name and the reputation and impression that people give them. You shouldn't go through life allowing other people to give you pressure. Like, the only pressure that you should have in your life is the pressure that you give to your own self, right? So I was having a chat with my girlfriend yesterday, and we were talking about these sorts of things that happen in our community where somebody's standard as whether they're capable of being your friend or not is based on, are you married? Are you married? That person isn't married, so that person is less than. That person doesn't measure up. And worse still, some people even take it a notch further by saying that you haven't made it in life because, or you haven't been able to get married because you don't have a good character. That is why nobody wants to marry you. Nobody wants to make an honorable woman out of you. And that is why you're not married. But the truth of the matter is this, is that marriage is not for everybody. That's just plain and simple. Marriage is not for everybody. Not everybody is set out in this life to be married. And the fact that somebody isn't married shouldn't be a yardstick that you use to measure up somebody to see whether they're worthy or not. Right? Ghana is one of the few countries where I see marriage and having children being a yardstick for determining whether somebody is going to get a job as a manager or not. It doesn't make no sense to me, because in the Western part of the world, it's all about competence. Has nothing to do with your personal standing in society as to whether you're married or not married. Can you do the job? Can you deliver? That's all they ask for. But Ghana is the only place, or one of the few places that I know very well, that you go to and people measure your life by whether you have a husband, or especially when you're a woman. Is she married? How can she make a good CEO when she's not married? She doesn't have a husband. It's as if having a husband is what makes you complete as a human being. You are already complete as a person. Look at me. Am I complete or incomplete? Do I not have a head, eyes, a nose, mouth, ears? Yeah, I know my hair is a mess, but forget that part. I'm a human being, full, whole human being, right? And so if I'm going to be judged based on the fact that I'm not married, and that's going to form the decision point that somebody has to decide whether I can make a good CEO or not, it's pathetic. Because it is this limiting mindset and way of behavior that is limiting us as a people. The fact that somebody is married doesn't make them suddenly some perfect human being that is suddenly capable of doing things just because they're they're married. So they're married. So what? How does that change anything? Right? The other thing that annoys me is this whole thing about not having children. Oh, auntie, yeah, narrow focus, dear, narrow focus. I haven't been able to understand that. They're very competent, beautiful women. They haven't chosen to be single. They are single. But should we allow the fact that we're single to make us desperate? Because Auntie I is going to think different of me. Look at this woman. How can she be a civil engineer and live in Canada and all of that, and she's not married? I don't want to have nothing to do with her. Oh, no, 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 no. She's not good enough to be friended. Do you know how many people have stopped being good friends to me because they're now married? A lot of them, their husbands have told them that they don't think that having non-married people as friends is good company, and they should befriend you in any way, shape, or form. Auntie, I salute you. Fajinao, God bless you for being here. Every single one of you. Mr. Bediako, God bless you for being here. And every single one of you that hasn't commented, so I don't know who you are. God bless you for being here. Antia says, narrow focus. And Fajinam says, very true. I've experienced that many times. And so I've declined to answer those questions. They're silly questions. They are silly questions. Plain and simple. That's what they are. Silly questions, right? So here I am. I'm in my own space, in my tiny kitchen. It's not a perfect kitchen. It's a gun show, but it's a kitchen. It functions. I cook in it. It works. Are you going to judge me because I'm in my own kitchen and I'm cooking my food and it's not a fantastic looking kitchen? So what? I don't care. Like, I'm just living my life. And people shouldn't be judged based on the fact that they're living their life where their life is at, right? Decisions about people's status, who they are, what they're capable of doing should never be based on these two silly things: being not married, childless. It is only in Ghana, like it's only in Africa, only in our community that silly things like this happen, right? When I was doing my master's program in Edinburgh, back in England, or Scotland, shall I say, the UK, I beg your pardon. In Scotland is where Edinburgh is. One of my lecturers, in fact, the lady who was my supervisor for my project, very beautiful woman. Very, very beautiful woman. Married. But she told me that she decided herself that she does not want to have children. And so she's gone with her husband to the hospital. And both of them, she tied her tubes. He's had a vasectomy. They don't want to have children. Perfectly fertile, perfectly capable, perfectly able to have kids, but they have made that conscious decision that they don't want to have children. So I asked her why. We were very close people. We had very good dialogue and rapport. And she had no qualms about sharing her decision and thought process with me. So I asked her, I said, why? Why? What has, fueled this decision that you've made? Why have you come to this conclusion? She told me that she feels that she's not going to have the time dedicated to loving the child and providing everything that she needs to the child. And so it is better that she is not going to get classed as an incompetent or a parent that has failed. Then she doesn't want to even start at all in the first place. I have colleagues who aren't married. Are they less human? Am I better than them? No, not everybody is destined for marriage. Marriage is not for everybody. That's just the gospel truth. Likewise, having children is not for everybody. I know some silly men. I say silly because they know it within themselves that they're not cut out for being fathers. But just because of this same silly pressure that we've put on ourselves, some men who weren't made or cut out for parenthood have made themselves into parents, and they are not responsible. I know people that have had kids, and once the kids were born, they disappeared and left their moms behind because they didn't feel that they were capable of looking after these children. But the question is, but you were capable of getting in between the mother's legs, but you weren't capable. You didn't realize at that time that you weren't capable of being a good parent then. But now that you've brought forth this kid that needs both mom and dad, you've now suddenly realized that, I wasn't actually cut out for this, right? Like, sometimes we just need to take responsibility for actions or inactions thereof. And so My lecturer was called Catherine. I adored her so much because she already knew where she stood. That marriage is not part of her. Like having children is not part of her. She wanted to be committed to one person. She wants to travel the world. She works like a donkey. But 1 month out of the year, they buy tickets, pack their backpacks, and they travel. They set the sea and they can travel across Africa and, go tour different countries, get off at different ports, see how different people live, and all of that, get back on the ship and go to the next place. She tells me that, Sika, it wasn't ever going to be possible when I have one or two little ones following me around. How is that going to work? Because I want to get to that point where I can say, I don't want to work for a whole year and I just want to travel. The kids are going to be in school. It means disrupting their schooling, not them not having no friends. It's not fair on them. And so, you know what? I've just made this conscious decision that I don't think that I was cut out for parenthood like that, and I don't want to do it. How many of us would accept such a person even around us as people? How many of us? Do you think that this kind of a person will be entertained in Ghana? Can you imagine the sorts of things that would be comments that will be made about such a person? Sometimes it may not be as definitive as the person themselves deciding that they don't want to have children, but they're incapable of having children. So what should they do? Should you kill yourself because you can't have a child? Should you? Because we seem to be living in a generation and a community and society where people actually think that that is what you have to do. I'm trying to make a stew. I'll show you guys what I'm doing in a second, but we live in a society and a community where it's almost as if that is the only thing that is acceptable. If you can't have children, you're not human, you're not sufficient, you're not good enough because you can't do what everybody else does and what society says everybody should be capable of doing. It's about time we change certain mediocre ways of thinking because it's very limiting. By denying yourself certain people in your life, you're limiting your own self. How do you know whether the person that has a significant role to play in your destiny changing, you're denying them access because you're judging them by what you see when you don't know what goes on in their private lives, right? And I say these things with a lot of conviction because I actually experienced them. I just went to get an onion. I actually experienced this myself on a daily basis. Hello, Kwame, walking the talk. How are you? Yeah, I hope you got your muscle that you wanted yesterday. I hope you're doing well. Oh gosh. Like guys, the fact that somebody hasn't been able to find a man or have a man in their life, hasn't been able to have children, doesn't have a family, that shouldn't be the yardstick that you use to decide whether you want to befriend somebody like that or not. I have gone through a very radical transformation in my life since I moved to North America. Any limited visioned people who don't have nothing motivational, inspirational, educational, or supportive, or encouraging, or nothing to say to me, don't want nothing to do with you, right? And sometimes when I say these things, some people say to me, oh, you shouldn't be so mad at them, because a lot of people say these things out of a point of ignorance. It's because they don't know any better. That might very well be true. You might not know any better, but should you judge a person, a whole human being like me, just because I can't have children? Is that the yardstick? Is that what I should be assessed by? My ability or inability to have children? Is that the yardstick? Like, I don't have a child of my own biologically, but I'm talking to you. Does what I say make sense, or does it not make sense? Like, can you not hear me? I still talk just like you do, right? Through no fault of mine, my body just can't do that thing. Like, not everybody on the surface of this planet is going to be able to have kids biologically. The sooner we understand that, the better. I've had all kinds of people say all manner of things to me. So this is, I don't know whether you can see in my pot, but this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you guys my food, but it doesn't seem to be happening because of where my camera is. But yeah, I've been trying to make spinach stew. I don't digest oopsie, I'm gonna bend this thing. I don't digest palm oil very well, and so I use vegetable oil in cooking. Anyway, maybe you got a sneak preview, but if you didn't, when it's ready, you'll see it. Right? Guys, like, let's just be fair here. Right? Why should your relationship with somebody be based on what they can and can't do? Why? And I've had all these messages, people saying to me, oh, you never know what God can do. And, you know, maybe you should try. You should never give up. And this, that, and the other. I laugh. It's not because I don't have no faith in God. That's not what the issue is. My body says I can't. It can't do it. So what do you want me to do? My body says it can't. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go get God to remanufacture some new ovaries and thing? Like, what do you guys want? I want people to answer my question. Like, what do you want me to do? I can't. Many then, what should I do? Right? And I'm not saying this because it's just me. Like, there's a lot of people that are suffering in silence in this community of ours, that are isolated and in isolation because of attitudes of people. I see a lot of it. I'm in my 40s. I've met a lot of women. Some of them are younger than I am. Some of them are older than I am. And the sort of verbal abuse, the insults, disrespect, and embarrassment that people show just because they don't have children or they're not married is disgraceful. It really, really is. Because I live in a community and a society where people just love me because they just love me, period. I work with people who, if they don't see me turn on my computer for one day, and these are not even friends, these are just colleagues of mine, they'll send a message. Are you okay? Are you all right? Is there anything you need? You know, I'm just around the corner. If you need anything, just let me know. Because they know I'm on my own. But they're not judging me because I don't have children. There's no pity. There's no, oh, this is so miserable. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sika. You ain't got no children. Oh, no. Mm-mm. They just love you for you, your imperfections, what you can do, what you can't do, everything. Some people are just into you just for the heck of it. And so, my question is, as a community that claim that we love, oh, Ghanaians are one of the most hospitable people ever. Oh, Africans, especially Ghanaians are the most loving and hospitable people ever. Is it the fact that you can cook and you give food to people that makes you hospitable? Is it the fact that you pretend to laugh in people's faces and when they're not there, you say something different about them? Is that what makes you hospitable? Or is it just people who can just love you for you and don't judge you based on what you have or don't have that are the real people to love? I'm going to be honest with a lot of you and say that I love Ghana to bits. That's where my roots are from, right? And sometimes I'm grateful that I'm out here because I don't think that I could deal with the public backlash every single day of my life. Like, it just grows really tiresome, right? I'm lucky and fortunate enough to have parents who love and care about me and don't care about whether I have children or not, because between my siblings and I, there's 5 grandchildren. That's way more than enough. But even if my parents didn't have no grandchildren, I don't think it'll make any difference, right? The crux and the point I'm trying to make here is that if in 2022, we as a community are not going to learn to love ourselves and are going to base our decision about whether we can love or not. Oh, I didn't show you guys my grilled fish. So that's what's going to go into my spinach, my warm spinach that I'm trying to make. My spinach has lemon seeds and all sorts of things. I'll see if I can give you guys my recipe later. But if you can't accept people for who they are and just love them just because of that, it's very pathetic, right? Not everyone wants to even have children. Your ability to have children or not can never make you a better person. Well, in our society, Kwame, I hope you're still watching. In our society, that's how it is. That is the backlash that I have suffered and still continue to suffer. But I've cut myself off of all those places that would bring all of those kinds of things up. So I don't get to hear much of it anymore. Yeah. And on my page, if you bring that nonsense here, it's my page. So I have the ability to just hit a button and you're gone, like block. I love it, right? I love it so much. And so I've kind of had to build this fence around me to shut out the naysayers and just live my life. Because if I really want to dwell on the way that we behave as a community, gosh, I don't think I would last this long. I don't think so. Because there are people just waiting to hear you that because you haven't been able to have children, you've taken your life, like you're not here anymore. Right? It's almost as if some people actually enjoy the fact that, you're not able to do the things that normal people, oh, so you don't have children. Oh, that is so sad. Oh, Sika, I feel so sorry for you. Don't feel sorry for me because I'm living my life. Have you tried IVF? Oh, maybe you should look into it, And I have all kinds of people sending me phone numbers and call this person and you should speak to Bishop so and so and Apostle so and so is good at helping women have children. I didn't know that some people have baggages of children somewhere, and they are the ones that God has given authority to disseminate these children and decide which homes it goes to. Like, it's just hilarious, right? If some of you knew how your neck exactly, Auntie, exactly. Auntie, I wish I could send you the link to that video for you to just read some of the comments that I get. I'll send it to you when I'm done and off this video for you to see. You open your mouth wide and be like, really? Even as of now, right now, as we're talking, there's still messages popping up on that particular video. It went viral, right? Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. God will do it. Then they'll add, speak to Apostle so and so. Some people even get angry because when they've asked me to speak to so and so or call a particular number and 2-3 days have come and gone and I haven't called that number, then they get angry. Like, I am the one who wants the child. If I've decided not to call you, why should you be pissed off? Like, some people are just so sick. It's hilarious. Like, it's my problem, right? If it's that much of a problem to me, I'll prioritize it. But if I haven't prioritized it, why are you angry for me? Why? you know Call me. It's been 3 days now. Why are you not calling? I'm not calling you because I'm not interested in calling you. Right? So guys, please, like, stop treating people as if they're so stupid that they can't see that they don't have children or they can't see that they're not married. You think about it. If you are sitting somewhere worrying about how somebody can't have a child, don't you think that the person that it concerns also thinks about this, like, on a daily basis or regularly enough? Doesn't common sense tell you that if I am a bystander and this childlessness issue is disturbing me so much that AC doesn't have children, the AC must not be sleeping at night, especially if AC wants children and can't have it. The AC is dealing with something. So let me just leave people alone and let people be. Must you have a comment for everything that is going on in somebody else's life, right? Like the Bible says that we should learn to take the log out of our own eyes, right? So that we can see clearly, to take the speck out of somebody else's. That's what the Bible says. So you have, excuse my French, you have shit going on in your own life. You haven't fixed that one. You've made it your job to come worry about me and what's going on in my life, right? Like, I found a lot of absolutely amazing people on social media, and it's interesting that the new sorts of relationships that I have are with people that I don't even know personally, like in person. Antia, I've met her on social media. I can't wait to meet her in person and, like, be able to put my arms, Antia, and put my arms around her. But the love that Antia shows me here on social media is gazillion times more than people that I've known my entire life, like people I sat in primary school classrooms with. Because the nonsense that they spew is so bad that I want nothing to do with people like that. Much rather be with Antia, who doesn't ask me no question. I've known Antia for 2 years at least now on social media. Antia has never picked up the phone to ask me, oh, so Sika, you don't have children. Ooh, what happened? Oh, is it that you, is it because you don't have a man, or the man has low sperm count? Maybe your blood and whoever you're with, your blood is not, it doesn't mix well. Oh. Maybe you should go see somebody else. Maybe you should go be with somebody else. Maybe that's why you're not having children. You should think about it, because you're growing old. And there's nothing, you can never call somebody else's child your child. So, you should just. I remember I had a 50-something-year-old woman send me a private message on social media crying like a baby because every time she goes out to a function, as soon as people see her, they start, "Hmm, you know, having children is like the best thing that's ever happened to me in this life, you know. It's so amazing." Like, as soon as they see her, that's what they start with. I know somebody else personally who is very active in church, and she goes for all the church programs and all the church members programs and their children's programs, but is absolutely heartbroken because she went to somebody's christening or somebody's daughter's dedication, and the people in question didn't want her to touch their baby because she didn't have children of her own. And they didn't want her to rub off her illness or whatever is preventing her from having children onto their baby. Somebody else also goes, she's quite successful, you know, as a person. She's made it. Oh, you know, what is to say that all this wealth that you've acquired and all this money that you have, you don't have all of this because you uh, gave your womb up in some kind of funny African magic-y something. And that's why you can't have children. Because you sacrificed your uterus to make money. It's why you don't have children. Like, as a people, we're poisonous. We are poisonous. That a human being can open their mouth and say such a thing to another human being is beyond me. We keep talking about how, oh, you know, Africans and Ghanaians are such hospitable people. They're so kind. Where is the kindness in this? Where is the kindness in this? Tell me. Auntie, I don't go anywhere. I don't. I'm very selective about the people I hang around with. One wrong foot, one wrong word, one wrong comment, and you should know that that is the last time you're seeing me. I don't have any qualms anymore about, oh, how the person feel, what will the person think. Mm-mm. I used to, when I was a bit younger, maybe 5 years ago, I used to be that sort of person, worrying about how the person will feel. How is the person making me feel for how they're treating me? So I cut it out. Stop doing that a long time ago. I don't tolerate it. I only hang around people that actually want to be with me and enjoy my company. Yeah. I'm very ruthless when it comes to that. And you know, until in recent times, my peace has become something that is so valuable to me that I'm not prepared to put anything on the line for it. So I don't care how you feel. Because how I feel at the end of the day is what matters. I don't give a toss about how you're feeling. If you cared about me, you'd be mindful of the sorts of things that you say to me. At this age of 41, I started working in England and then in Canada now since 2004, like professionally. Doing odd jobs before that, but professional work from 2004. So from 2004 to now, that's 18 good years. And I promise you, I don't have one Caucasian friend who has walked up to me just like literally and said to me, "Oh, Sika, how many children do you have?" And never. They don't need to ask you. They're just there because you're there and they're there, and that is it. Like it's none of their business. None of their business. Auntie Ya says, stop patronizing these events. Unnecessary mental torture. We lack empathy and compassion in our community. And it's pathetic. It really is. It really, really, really is. And I'm telling you that there's so many people, nice, amazing, wonderful people that are staying in their houses, minding their own business, don't go anywhere to socialize with our own people because of this very behavior. As soon as somebody can't have children, it must be that they had abortions when they were younger, and that's why they can't have children. Conclusion. Do you know how many people have asked me whether I'm a lesbian or I'm gay? Like it's any of their freaking business, but yeah, that's why I don't have children. Some people have even overstepped their boundary to tell me that I'm in a spiritual marriage. It's just right. I laugh about it now, but guys, when it was going on, it wasn't funny. Like, yeah, you're in some spiritual marriage. This is why you don't have no children. Yeah, somebody has married me in the spirit. I see. Right? Like, and people say these things to you without any firm conclusions as to what ought to be done about it. They just say it, and that's it. We call ourselves Christians, but we use fear mongering to limit the abilities of this same God that we're saying is all powerful and all knowing and all everything. Like it's very, very double standarded, like we don't, what we say is not consistent, right? So does it mean that God was stupid or he was crazy when he made people like me who don't have children? I know people in my life who were born without a uterus. I know I am related to somebody who doesn't have a whole fallopian tube. Like she just had the worm. So did Christ die for all these people? Did he make these people too, or were these people made by some other fake God who was trying to impersonate the real God, and then some people got made differently? Like, I don't understand. Right, guys? Like, if we're going to be forward thinking people, if we're going to be forward thinking people in this 21st century, like in this year of 2022, and remain relevant as African Ghanaians, like we're all going to be people that are moving with the times. This nonsense has really got to stop, right? I am so happy to be in the company of Auntie Ya for that. There's a generation breeding of women my age and older that are not sitting down and putting up with this nonsense. And I love that. But if people haven't noticed, like our children's generation are completely different. It's inspirational and motivational for me to see that where this rubbish is being cut out. It's being cut out of our society. But what's going to happen, sadly, is that all the people that are sensible and knowledgeable like me will want nothing to do with our own kind, because we are not kind people. We're not. All we seek to do is backbiting. Oh, Sister Dora, you saw that video, eh? Okay. I know quite a few people did. Backbiting and insult and ridicule and all of that. Like, that is all that we do as a people. It's terrible. It's terrible. Right? And so, guys, as sisters, as women in our own community, And the saddest part of the whole thing is that it's we women who do it to, to our own selves. Like men, African men, I can tolerate. Bulk of them seem to be okay-ish. It's we, the women, we do it to ourselves. Barren woman, somebody who can't have a child, barren woman. Like we say the word barren with all confidence and boldness, as if, you know. But the word is an English word. But I've never heard any English person use that word barren. Mm-mm. The only place I read that is in scripture. And the people who brought Christianity to Ghana themselves or Africa themselves, none of them has ever said to me, "You're barren." Ever. People have construed and used the Bible to suit their own silly ideologies and promote this. Like there's this fear mongering that is breeding in our so-called Christianity thing. So when somebody comes up to you and tells you you are in a spiritual marriage, what am I supposed to do about that? Huh? What should I do? You need to come and see me. I am the person who can help you get rid of this spiritual marriage that you're in. Auntie, yeah, we need to try positivity for a change. It is just awesome. Like, just let people be, right? And live their lives. It's bad enough that people in their own self sit down and the one thing that they want or the two things that they want, they can't have for whatever reason. People are dealing with their own issues, the way they deal with them. And those of you who have children that make everyone else feel that they're missing out on something fantastic by not having children. How many of you are going to sit here and own up to the fact that, yes, you may have wanted the children and you had them, but raising them wasn't easy? I want to see by hands those who are going to be honest here this night or this afternoon and own up to the fact that having the child has not been easy either. My siblings have children. I see their struggle. And sometimes when I see the things that some of them go through, I'm like, hey, thank God, when it's 9 o'clock, I can sleep in my bed and go to bed. I don't have to have a 4-year-old come in my bed when I'm sleeping and use her 2 eyes to open my eyes like this and tell me to wake up because it's morning and she's up. Mm-mm. I get to sleep in when I want to, right? Sometimes, God just knows what he's doing. Like, he knows what everybody can take and handle, and he gives you just that. That is my own philosophy of life. It's my belief. I have people that have followed this quest to have a child at all costs, to be married at all costs, just so that they also have a name. Yesterday, those of you who were on social media, you must have seen Osinachi's funeral. That 41-year-old Nigerian musician who sang Ekueme that we all love. Another amazing music. She was laid to rest yesterday. Grand style funeral. Very pathetic, very sad. But I would have rather she was alive. Those of you who would have criticized her for being divorced and boycotted her music because she's a divorcee, wouldn't it have been better if she had not been married at all, or if she did get married, quit an abusive marriage so that she can be here and we all be listening to this Ekueme and be enjoying it? Wouldn't it have been better? Imagine somebody having a child, paying school fees, borrowing money, doing all of that. Then at some point, the person has just died without even living a life. But if people are to follow us and the way we behave, judging people based on how many children they've been able to have or not have, whether you're married and have a ring on your finger or not, life will be so much easier. Having a man is not what defines you as a person. If you're a man, having a woman, having the right man or woman complements you. But having a man or a woman just for the sake of having, it's not what defines you as a person. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's so many of you who, if you be honest with yourselves and speak your truth this night, you're married to people you wish you never married. Some people are stuck because now they don't earn a living. They are housewives. They have 3 kids. If they leave this man now, how are they going to ever be able to pay rent? So you're just sitting in it, just managing, but no enjoyment whatsoever in this marriage. So I think that a lot of people that are hateful towards people like me, I'll be with you guys in a second, just do that because you wish that you could have alternative options and you don't. And that is why some of you exhibit those characteristics, because you look at me, single, able to decide whether I'm going or coming and when I'm going and coming, and you that can't, and you wish you had that option. You were able to do the same things that I'm able to do. Oh, this computer of mine in my tiny little kitchen. You guys can't see full well what I'm doing, but you manage it like that, right? So guys, let's just learn to love each other just the way we are, and stop allowing other people to make you feel that you've missed out and you've lost out on life because you don't have what everybody else is calling out and saying that they have, which is so super amazing, and you are missing out because you don't have that thing. Because believe you me, I've seen some people come to cry out to me about the marriages they're in and how they wish they were never in these marriages. And honestly speaking, I thank God that He spared me a marriage like that one. Right? Can you see my spinach? Can you see? Can you see it? Mm-hmm. I'm going to put my salmon in my spinach, and then that's what I'm going to have. I can have it with yam. Ooh, so hot. Whew. I can have it with yam or rice or green plantain during the week. Oh, this thing has bent my finger. You ordained me as a prophetess. I don't want to be no prophetess. So I just want to be loved by God. That's it. Right? So guys, please stop making unmarried women feel they're missing out on something by not being married, and go and pick wrong men to be married to. I beg you. And stop forcing men to go get married, and they also go and pick wrong women to be with and end up causing too much wahala for themselves. Let people be. God's time is the best. When is their due season? It's not going to be you that says anything. It will just happen for them, right? Let people be. Allow people to enjoy their lives just the way it is. Stop trying to influence what God is doing. There's due season for everyone. Due season for everyone under the surface of the planet. That's what I came to talk about. share my crazy kitchen where you can't even see my cooking. I think next time I just have to go live on my phone instead of trying to do it on my laptop because it's not favorable. We'll try the phone next time and you see what goes on in my crazy, unconventional kitchen. But yeah, that was what I was passing by to talk about. I listen to too many stories. I see too many people in tears over this issue. And I just think that as a people, it is time that we change this nonsense. Because me, I'm fed up with this rhetoric all the time. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's not fair. It's not fair. Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. I'm asking you, every single one of you listening to me, imagine the names that you call people, the judgments that you pass on people even before you know them. If somebody were to pass similar judgments on you, would you like it? If you wouldn't like it, then stop it. Like, stop it right now because it's not right. We can't be a people who say we're religious, we are Christian. And yet we are the person who don't show no love whatsoever, no compassion whatsoever to fellow human beings. It's just not right. Right? So let's learn to just love each other the way we are. Accept people the way they are. You've never even made oxygen before. Never. Have you seen oxygen before? I haven't. Just in a can. And they say this is oxygen. Whether it's oxygen or not, who knows? Right? But you've never made oxygen before. You can never make a human nose. So it is not down to you to call anybody out or call people names or nothing like that. Because it ain't got nothing to do with you. People can't have children, they can't have children. People are not married, they're not married. Get on with it. Love them or loathe them, they're still people. Equally deserving of people to love them and treat them right. And those men who feel that they're doing a favor to women who can't do any of these things, let me address you. You only do these kinds of things when you yourself are incomplete as a person and you yourself have self-esteem issues. Because any man or woman made in the image and likeness of God is complete just the way they are. The question is, can you love that person the way they are? And I like it when people are just honest. Because in my lifetime, I've met men who have said point blank that they want a wife who can bear them children. They don't want to be with somebody who can't have children. That's their truth, and they've owned it. And I respect people like that. What I can't stand is people who pretend. Oh, I know you have issues, but God is able. My God can do anything. And they'll say all these things and throw these nonsensical things, faith that is not even real faith, in the end, tell you they can. Oh, they do. They understand. And after doing all this, when 2 years have passed, 3 years have passed, 5 years have gone, no children forthcoming, now you're complaining. But the person told you from the get-go that they're not capable of having children or they've got issues. So there are men who are also incapable of producing the seed that gives the pregnancy. But in our society, when a couple can't have children, it's the woman's fault, even before they found out whose fault it is. Oh, Sister Dora, don't worry, you can always play back later. Go to bed and sleep well. Have a great weekend. Right? When in our society, when people are married and they can't have children, even before they've gone to do tests, run tests, and see whose fault it is the woman's fault by default. Whether she can or can't or whatever, it's her fault. Loving women cover their husband's supposed shame, because I don't see the shame in this. I can't have children. What's the shame? But in our society, it's called shame. So dutiful wives cover their husband's shame in inverted commas. And yet, when it's the woman who can't have the children, there's no backing, no support from the spouses. They leave the wives vulnerable to their moms, sisters, cousins, all kinds of people to have a go at. Demoralize and kill the person's inner spirit that is within them, as if the person lied to you from the get-go by saying what they said to you. Few people make a choice to be moms or not. But on the whole, in our society, a lot of people can't have children because they just can't. Like, it's not in their power to do it. But for me, if somebody knows that they have issues and they tell you they have issues and you continue with them in whatever relationship it is, to me, you fully understand what you're dealing with. The person has told you. You see, what I don't like is when people pretend as if they didn't know something and they've been deceived into something that they knew full well about and decided that it was okay for them. And then when the going gets tough, when people start making all kinds of comments, when you're supposed to stand solidly behind your husband or wife and say, it's okay, she can't have children, none of your business, mind your business. That is when he's now coming to explain, it's not my fault. I have tried everything humanly possible. The children are just not coming. I have been trying like everything I should do as a man. Who needs to know those gory details? Who needs to know that? The lack of support from men in our society towards women that they know have issues is pathetic. So the question is, did you go into the marriage because you love the woman? Because in those vows, it says for better and for worse. Unless this woman has been trying to have children before she met you, she probably wasn't to know. She couldn't. Unless she had some kind of life-threatening illness or there were some things that just went right, gynae-wise, then they, a lot of the time, have no way of knowing. So it's for better, for worse. This is what you've got. When you go be with these people and you make them feel like they're not human beings because they can't have children, don't realize that every hurtful word that you speak out breaks somebody down to shreds. Not everybody has the fighting spirit and whatever else that some of us have managed to develop, where we don't just tolerate people spewing whatever they spew to people, right? So we need to be mindful as a people. The last thing that I would say today before I put this thing down here is that make sure that your advice is solicited for. Auntie Ya made that comment and I looked at it, but I didn't say it. I needed to emphasize on that as a people, we need to make sure that somebody has actually come to you to ask you for your opinion. before you start throwing things in the air like that. Oh, but you can just do IVF. What do you know about IVF? Hmm? Are you a doctor? Are you a medic? Are you trained to advise who can and can't have IVF? Or you've just heard that there's something called IVF, so everybody must have IVF, right? IVF is probably not the way for everybody. It doesn't work for everyone, and it's not for everyone. I've had people come into my private inbox on my page. Why don't you go and do IVF? I don't owe you no explanation. I don't. I have chosen that I've decided that enough is enough. I don't want to subject my body to anything. If I cannot have a child naturally without any interventions, then it's just not my fate to have it. And I need to make my peace with that. And that is my choice. Because I live in my body, I know what goes on in it. And I know what IVF is, and I know what it entails. And I know that I don't want my body to be subjected to that. Like some of you talk about IVF and you don't know the next thing about IVF. Anybody who has had that thing will tell you what it takes. I see people who have had 8 cycles of IVF. Each of those things in some countries can cost you as much as $5,000 to $10,000. 8 of those. Is that not a mortgage on a house? Can that money not build a house in Ghana for some people to live in? Can you not start a business and a source of livelihood for yourself with that same investment? Like, what is it about you must have a child at all costs? What is it that is about that? Right? So, before you give advice to people, have they asked you for advice? Right? Have they asked you? Oh, you're not married. Have you tried online dating? Oh, maybe it's because you are not getting out there more. Maybe you should go out more. Oh, you don't have children. You should try IV. Why don't you harvest your eggs and freeze them? You can always have children later. Please, I'm begging you in the name of God. Unsolicited advice. It's unhelpful. It's uncalled for. So just let people be. Like, just leave people alone. If somebody comes to you with their problem and asks you for your opinion, of course, then you can give an opinion. But until that happens, just let people be. I don't want anybody to text me or send me any messages after this video. Oh, we saw your video and you were talking. I'm not talking. I haven't said that this thing is a bother for me. I'm just a mouthpiece to the several hundreds and thousands of people out there that are struggling with the same issues that I have. And so I don't want any unsolicited advice here. Don't send me no pastor's number. I don't need any pastor's number. Don't send me. If you send me any pastor's number, I will delete you and I will block you off my page. Don't send me no pastor's number. A pastor is just a human being, just like me. If God wants to do something, he will do it. Stop sending me pastor's number, prophet this, prophetess that. Go buy water here. I can give you this thing. Don't send me those messages. Don't send it. If you disrespect me and you send me that kind of a message, I know that you don't want to be on my page anymore. So I will help you leave my page gladly. Don't send me those messages. Don't. I am not here saying this because I want no pity from anybody. And those of you sending me marriage proposals because you think, oh, she says she doesn't have children. How sad is that? Oh, if nobody else wants you, I'll marry you. I don't want a husband. I don't want. Leave me alone. Okay? Mhm. There are husbands right here in Canada. If I want, I can find. So just leave me be. Leave me alone. Don't want any fake people sending me nothing. Don't need your empathy, your sympathy, nothing. Leave me the hell alone. Okay? I'm done with all of that. Those of you sending me message, oh, I love you. I'm like, Guinea, you love who? You love who? Eh? You love me. Do you know me? Eh? Like, you guys are so funny. How can you love somebody you don't know? Huh? That there just tells me that you're a bloody liar. It is so funny. How can you love somebody you don't know? Tell me. Impossible. So let's just be real here. Like, I see through all those funny tricks of yours. It's just very funny. And I read your messages and I have a good laugh about it. Like, people are just not serious. You love me. What do you know about me to love me? Right? Some people think that when you share your story and you talk about things like this, it means that you're sad, you're vulnerable, you're to be pitied, as if you are some egg that is about to crack. I'm very okay. I'm lying here, I'm making my stew, I've made spinach, I'm making fish stew. Tomorrow, maybe I'll make some soup. Like, I'm very comfortable. So just back off. Right? So let's understand ourselves from that point of view. And stop saying things you don't mean. That's a lot of lies. If we are saying we're Christian, let's be Christian about everything. And stop lying and spewing things that are untrue. Anybody who says I love you, delete and block, because I know you're lying. Cannot possibly love somebody you don't know. Don't know nothing about me to love me. Okay? Reason why I switched on my camera today was just to talk to my sisters, women in general, and say to us that instead of being a force that divides and ruins everything, damages everything in our path, it's about time we learn to love each other, elevate each other, motivate each other, inspire people into being better people, help people think outside of the box, help people who think that they're incomplete because they don't have children. And somebody said to me, all this hard work that I'm doing, what is the point of it if I have no children? Like, really? Really? I know people who were so hell-bent on having children, they ended up having kids that have special needs, which means that their lives have been altered. And if they'll be honest with you, they'll tell you that that's not what they bargained for. But you see, sometimes, like I say, like, God just knows what is right and perfect for you. And He gives you that thing. Accept it as it is and don't fight Him. He's all knowing. He made you in His own image and in His own likeness. And says that you're just enough for me just the way you are. Learn to love people just the way they are. Don't take anybody on and try to change them to suit you. Don't do that. Right? So, guys, I was just passing by. I was just loving. I was just, having a great time with you guys. Super awesome. Super amazing. I love every single one of you guys that are here. Share, subscribe, follow, send me stars, all the good things that you do. Okay? Have you heard me? I love every single one of you, but I want mindsets to change. I want people to become different people. I love you. Stay beautiful, handsome, whatever. Learn to edify and elevate this society and community that we are in. And let's change our ways and mind the way that we speak to each other. I believe so strongly that all of us are going to be judged one day based on impacts that we've had as a people, on the people that we were blessed to have around us. Nothing is going to be said about how many wives you were able to marry. It's not a passport or a visa or a green card or a yellow card or indefinite right to remain. None of that. It's just meant for here. If you're blessed and you're able to do it, hallelujah. But if you can't, you can't. Plain and simple. I love you, those that have heard me. And it is what it is. Happy Sunday. And I shall see you guys nice, bright, and early sometime soon. I don't know when. But whenever I feel led to turn my camera on again, I would. I love you. Stay beautiful and handsome, and God bless you. Thank you for listening and for being here. I cherish every single one of you. Bye bye.